I hope everybody can listen to me. Thanks, all of you, for joining this conference and making it successful. Uh, it's good to see all of you. And today, in this pandemic, there are a lot of challenges are coming within the examination during this examination, and we thought of it to bring our speakers in this conference and talk about what different challenges are coming. So we have we are conducting this conference for all of you to share their experience so that everybody should be aware what different challenges are coming, how the examinations can be conducted online, and obviously how to prevent and get a successful examination happened. So we have I will quickly, first of all, give you a very brief about the mElimu as well. So mElimu is actually taken from a Swahili language from Kenya. Elimu, that means learning. M stands for mobile, so it's a mobile learning, and mElimu is a leading LMS provider, and providing an automated solution for online examination platform that enables college, universities, and K-12 to have AI proctored online examination. Obviously, mElimu is successful in various parts of African countries. If you'll see, we have the office in Kenya, but we have presence in Ethiopia and other parts of the country as well. More than 20 countries right now, mElimu is working as well. So we'll quickly give you a view of these are the presence of mElimu right now in all over these countries. If you'll see, mElimu is in South Africa, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in Nigeria, in Ghana, in South Africa. So today we have our sponsors as well. So we have Net and Com PLC, who's from Ethiopia. We have Management University of Africa, Kenya. We have Lunar International College from Ethiopia, and GCT Digital South Africa. And our speakers obviously would like to quickly share a bit brief about our speakers as well. And so we have Anteneh Ewnetu with us, who is the president of Lunar International College, Ethiopia. We have Dr. John, he is the deputy vice chancellor of Management University of Africa, and Llewellyn Scholtz, who is the executive director of Genesis Community IT Initiative, South Africa. So I will hand over to Anteneh, but before giving to him, we'll quickly like to share his profile. So Anteneh has been teaching in different marketing and information technology courses for over 10 years at various academic institutes in Ethiopia, and he has already been publishing several articles in international and national peer review journals as well. And he is currently Lunar International College. So good morning, all of the speakers, Anteneh, Dr. John, and Llewellyn. Thanks all of our speakers for joining this conference and making it successful. Our participants also wanted to listen from you as well. Anteneh, are you with us?
Yes, yes.
Can we start from you?
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Pramil. Good morning, everyone. So we can proceed to our presentation. So my presentation is about the need and the challenge for in Ethiopia. We'll have a background, then we'll discuss how Ethiopian higher institutes are conducting exams during the COVID pandemic. We'll discuss about the need for online exam systems in Ethiopia, challenge of conducting online exams in Ethiopia, and we'll share our experience. We'll do a conclusion and recommendation. So online examination system is a web-based examination system where examinations are given online, either through the internet or intranet using computer system. And the main goal of online examination system is to effectively evaluate the student thoroughly through a totally automated system, which will not only reduce the required time, but also obtain fast and accurate results, according to Hamid and Abdulatif. So different higher institutes all over the world that have been using online examination system for conducting online exam to their online program students. You know, in Ethiopia, online examination may be new, but all over the world, you know, different organizations have been, different universities have been using online examination to provide online exam to their online program students. But COVID has also pushed Ethiopia and Ethiopian institutes to consider online examination. Before discussing that, let's see how are Ethiopian higher education institutes conducting exams during the COVID pandemic. There have been more than 5 months since Ethiopian higher institutes are closed due to COVID, as everybody knows. So with some of my colleagues at LIC, we try to understand how higher institutes in Ethiopia are conducting exams during this pandemic. So by making telephone interview of 5 private higher institute students, postgraduate students, and 1 public higher institute postgraduate student, we came to understand that currently higher institutes in Ethiopia are conducting exams by using 2 modalities. Pramil, can you go back?
Okay, just so.
Oh, back. 1 more. Yeah. So by 2 modalities, currently, Ethiopian higher institutes are doing exam or conducting exam. The first one is conducting exams by using email. Exams will be emailed to students, and students will email their answer to their institutes. Some institutes require students to email their answer within 3 hours, while other instruct students to email their answer within 24 to 48 hours. So some schools, they email the exam to the students and they instruct the students to submit their answers in 3 hours, others in 24 hours, and even there are universities that require their students to email their answer in 48 hours. So one is conducting exam by email. The other one is face-to-face exam. Some institutes are conducting exam face-to-face in their campus by maintaining social distancing between their students. But both modalities have risks. Conducting an exam by using email, we don't have a meter to check if the student is not cheating or someone is taking the exam on behalf of the student. 1. The second one, face-to-face exam, has a risk of COVID transmission since exams are paper-based. So both of them have a risk. The need for online exam, these are one of the reasons for the need for the online exam in Ethiopia. So we believe that the need for online exam will be growing in Ethiopia mainly due to 3 factors. The first one, conducting exam through the email has a high risk of cheating and will challenge the objective of a student evaluation. It's difficult to assess the knowledge of the student by conducting exam by using email. We don't know we don't know, or we don't have a mechanism to check if someone is taking the exam on behalf of the student. Conducting exam at the campus face-to-face, even with social distancing, has a risk of spreading COVID. Since exams are conducted on paper, there is a big chance for COVID transmission. The other major factor that aggravates the need for online exam in Ethiopia is the recently introduced guideline for online education. HERCA recently introduced a guideline for online education for undergraduate, for masters, and for PhD program. As a result, the need for online exam will grow in the coming years. Yeah. Next slide, please. So, challenge of conducting online exams in Ethiopia. We have seen that there is a need, at the same time there is a challenge for conducting online examination in Ethiopia. The first one is infrastructure. Infrastructure, that means in Ethiopia, one of the challenging factors is internet connectivity, slow internet connectivity, power, and at the same time unstable internet connection. The bandwidth, sometimes what you pay and what you get is different. The connection is slow, it's unstable, plus power is not stable in this country. So this is one of the infrastructure challenge. The other one is lack of resource. Not all students have computers. Not all students have laptops. Even at the postgraduate level, there are students who doesn't have laptop or desktop computers. And to do the online exam, you need a minimum the laptop or the desktop computer. Lack of basic ICT knowledge. From our experience in the last 5 months, we came to understand that most of the postgraduate students lack the basic ICT knowledge. No, it's really amazing that there are postgraduate students who cannot download a small application. The other is selecting the appropriate technology. There are a lot of online exam systems in the market. So which system to choose? Which system is appropriate for our situation is also another challenge. The fifth one is investment challenge. So you need to invest some money in order to buy the online exam system. And the tuition fee in Ethiopia for postgraduate and for undergraduate, comparing to what is charged in the other part of the world, is very small. And this also challenges us. This also challenges most of the college. Making payment. As you know, most of the online exam system providers, companies, they are not based in Ethiopia. Well, some are coming to the market, like mElimu, in partnership with local companies. But most of them are outside of Ethiopia. And in Ethiopia, as everybody knows, there is a shortage of foreign currency. Making an online payment is one of the challenges. So these are the challenge. Acquiring the technology itself is a challenge. It has an investment challenge, it has a payment challenge also, which technology to choose, the infrastructure, the lack of resource, and lack of basic ICT knowledge among our students, and sometimes even among our instructors, I have to say it. So these are the challenges of conducting online exams in Ethiopia.
Obviously, I think you have put a very good point in these kind of challenges. I think infrastructure is one of the biggest challenges we have been seeing as well. And the second you have shared as well, the third one is ICT knowledge. This is one of the important we are seeing as well. So I think some other slides that you have as well. And then I might be having some questions for you as well, Anteneh. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. As a conclusion and recommendation, what we believe at Lunar, Napoleon Bonaparte said, I think everybody knows Napoleon Bonaparte. The word impossible is found in the dictionary of Levis. For every problem, there is a solution. For every problem, we need to come up with a solution, especially as higher institute. We shouldn't be the one who's complaining about all these challenges. As higher institute, we have to be innovative. And we should we should understand the challenge, which we believe at Lunar. And then after understanding the challenge, we should be able to find a solution. So even though there are different factors that challenge conducting online exam in Ethiopia, the need for conducting online exam is becoming a must. So there is a challenge, but we need it desperately. Therefore, higher institutes in Ethiopia should find a way to overcome the challenge of conducting online exams. For example, we can overcome the challenge of conducting online exam in Ethiopia by adopting the below recommendation. Infrastructure. Okay, so the challenge for infrastructure, from what we understand, there is a power challenge, there is an internet connectivity challenge, and unstable internet. So we advise higher institutes, no, this is not a challenge of all students. Some students, they are okay, they have good internet connection. So let's say half of them, they don't have. But what we can do is students with this kind of challenge, they can come with their laptop and take exam by maintaining social distance at the campus. In our campus, for example, we have 15 megabyte broadband internet, 15.15. We are now in the process of upgrading it to 50 megabyte internet broadband. So students can come, they can sit down in their car, or they can go to the library, or we have lecture room, they can go in the lecture room by maintaining social distance. So if power is interrupted, we have an online generator. So internet is fine. So students who have such a difficulty of infrastructure, they can come and take the exam in the campus. So universities, colleges, higher institutes in Ethiopia should find a way for students who have the infrastructure challenge to come and take the exam. Lack of resource. Students who doesn't have laptop, every institute have computer labs, they can take their exam in the computer lab. So what we have to do is not all students do not have laptops. Some students have laptops, some students, they don't have laptop. So students without laptop, without computer, can take their exam by using the institute's computer. Lack of basic ICT knowledge. We should give training to our students, and we should fulfill the gap. Selecting appropriate technology. This is very important. The first thing is to identify the technology, then is evaluate, and then choose. So to do this, higher institutes, by using their IT department, they can do this job to select the appropriate technology, or they can hire even an external consultant who can do this job on behalf of them. Investment challenge. We should create a way to share the cost of the online exam with our students. And making payment now will not be an issue because companies like mElimu has a local partner like NSC, so NNC. So we should partner. If you partner with companies who have local presence, you'll have a chance to pay in local currency, which will avoid the headache of making payment in USD.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Anteneh, so as per certain points what you have right now shared everybody, so your suggestion is as well that if somebody is lacking of any kind of infrastructure, then Lunar International College is having that kind of infrastructure to conduct such online examination with social distancing, because you have that kind of capacity or that kind of infrastructure with that kind of bandwidth for the Ethiopian colleges.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You know, for students who doesn't have laptop, they can come, we'll clean the computers. They have a broadband internet, a standby online generator. They can do with social distancing, they can sit for the exam. And even students who have a laptop can come. You know, you don't examine all of your students at the same time.
Right.
So what we do is one section at a time. So one section at a time, and you can maintain social distancing. The difference between the paper-based and the computer-based exam is, now in the paper-based exam, you know, you touch the paper, the instructor touch the paper, so there is a chance of transmitting the, the pandemic. But with computer, it's your personal computer. Even the computer at the lab will be cleaned properly, will be disinfected properly. by following the guideline of WHO. So that can happen. But the students who have a connection, they can do it at home. And the online exam system should be AI proctored so that you can see their face, so that you can check whether they are referring other materials which are not allowed. So you can really get what you get in face-to-face exams.
Sure. Obviously, I think that is a good recommendation, suggestion as well. So LIC being as a examination center for all the Ethiopian colleges with having this kind of infrastructure, generally we have seen 70-75% or even 80% of the students are having the internet, they have the laptops and PC, but yeah, 15 to 20% these challenges are always within the colleges, and they have now the options open for them that LIC is there to help them. Such students, you can, all the Ethiopian colleges, they can check with Anteneh and find out the options to running such in the examination. I think the system is already having the AI proctoring. So online examination, obviously proctoring is happening automatically by the artificial intelligence. The student just need the infrastructure where they can sit and give the examination, and they should have that bandwidth running with that proper electricity is coming. That's a good suggestion. Thanks, Anteneh. I think I just wanted to quickly brief about Dr. John, who has been very recently conducted the online examination. And Dr. John is the, as I said, he is the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Management University of Africa. We have invited him to join this conference and share his experience. He has a great experience. He has did his PhD from business administration, specialized from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. He has been Master of Business Administration Finance from the University of Nairobi and a Bachelor of Commerce with accounting degree from University of Nairobi as well. So I would, Dr. John, are you with us?
Yeah, thank you, Praveen.
Very good. Very good morning.
Very much around. I want to welcome all the participants for this discussion this morning. Indeed, I'm honored to be part of the discussions. I think the challenges about online examination in Kenya goes back to March 2020, when the first case of COVID was reported in Kenya. Immediately, the first case of COVID was reported in March 2020 in Kenya. The government took a decision to close all the learning institutions and all students were sent home. For us at the Management University of Africa, at that particular time, we had completed the first semester and we were getting ready to start our end of semester exams. So what came to our minds as a university now is, how are we going to ensure that our students do take their end of the semester exams? And just to mention, here in Kenya, education is regulated. Like, we have different bodies which regulates education, and they are set minimum standards which various universities, various colleges have to maintain or have to adhere to, as far as teaching, as far as also examination. So it was a big challenge for us because for students to progress, they have to sit for their examinations at the end of the semester so that they can be able to register for the next semester. So fortunately for us, the infrastructure in Kenya is highly developed because we have several providers of the various infrastructure needs for supporting, let's say, if it is internet, if it is communication. So as far as infrastructure issue is concerned in Kenya, it is not
Dr. John? Dr. John, we lost you. So the challenge, one of the internet bandwidth, internet challenge, we are talking to run the examination. I think that challenge is started in this conference as well. So till Dr. John is back, I'm quickly taking some points and moving forward with our another speaker. Once Dr. John will back, obviously we'll bring him into the board. Yeah, okay, Dr. John is here, obviously.
So I'm back, sorry. So
Not
what I was saying, as a university, we evaluated the various options available for us to conduct the end of the semester exams. We looked at internal available options, including the module and so forth, but we realized the issue about security and integrity of exams will be questionable if we use internal methods or internal platforms we have at the university. That is why we settled on mElimu to provide us with the end of semester exams. For the simple reason that mElimu system, after evaluating it, we found it to be robust, to have good security features, which we were looking for to offer this particular end of semester exams. So we started on various discussions with mElimu until we came to an agreement on the way forward. After that, we sought necessary approvals internally to be allowed to offer our end of semester exams using the platform which is being offered by mElimu. So upon that, now it is very important when you are setting up to offer examination to also run trials with your students so that they are able to appreciate the system. So the most important stakeholder you need to engage are students by getting the necessary trials, and then you share with them. And of course, you will receive several feedbacks from students on what they want to be improved as far as that particular software is concerned.
Absolutely.
We got all the various feedbacks from our students, and we incorporated the various suggestions which our students made and went back to mElimu so that they can be able to improve on the suggestions from our students. Then the other stakeholder which we had to engage was our administrators, because during examination process, you got to have administrators who will be overseeing the running of exams. Unfortunately enough, mElimu has got a robust chat room system whereby our administrators were able to chat with mElimu's staff, and they were able to quickly understand the operations of the platform and also be in a position to facilitate our students once the exams began. So what I'm basically sharing today with us is our experience as MUA as far as conducting our exams using mElimu platform. What is being presented here is the various responses we got from our students who were interested in undertaking our exams online. You realize that 23% of the students who showed interest to do online examination was for first years, followed by second years with 26.39, and also followed by third years at 19.44, and fourth years came at 20.83. So the main reason maybe first years was still interested in doing exams online will be the reason that they have always been doing exams at the lower level, and they still have got the momentum to continue with these exams. Let's go to the next slide. The next presentation regards the various students and the courses they are doing at MUA, we realize our Bachelor of Management and Leadership contributed 47.89% of the students who actually sat for our exams, followed by our Bachelor of Development Studies and also our Bachelor of Commerce. Then our master's programs also were there, Master of Business Administration and Master of Development Studies. Also our Master of Management and Leadership also participated, and also our doctoral program participated in this examination with the given percentages. It is also important to note that our various diploma students and our various certificate students also participated. So what it basically means, when you look at ICT knowledge of our students in Kenya, it is a bit improved since certificate students had no much challenges using the platform being offered by mElimu. Certificate students are those students who have just graduated from high school, and in this case, they could be expected to have some challenges as far as using ICT or doing exams online. But as you can see, they also participated. Let's go to the next, please. So
Dr. John,
yes.
I'm sorry asking you in between a question here, just came
Correct.
in my mind. So has MUA conducted any kind of practice session or trial session for the students to feel the environment, because they are, it is a external examination for them?
Come up again, Pramil. Hello. Actually, Pramil, if I caught you rightly, we conducted various trials for these various students before they sat for our exams. And as I mentioned earlier on, from those various trials, the students were able to provide what they felt they needed to be improved about the system. And once we got the various feedbacks from the students, we were able to come back to you and also and your technical team, and you were able to address the various issues which our students requested to be improved on the system. On the responses on how it was easy obtaining information relating to exams, we realized that 60.84% of our students found it easy to obtain exams through the mElimu software, while another 26.57% of the students said it was moderate. So when you look at it in totality, you are looking at a total of 86% of students saying manipulating through the mElimu software was easy as far as obtaining information relating to examination is concerned. Things like now the exam timetable, the units allocated. On the responses on satisfaction with scheduling of the exams, you realize that a total of 81.12% of students gave a positive feedback that they were satisfied with the way exams were being scheduled through the mElimu system. Of course, there is 18.18% of students who said they were not much satisfied. But of course, as a university, we need to look at the reasons why this 18% of students said they were not much satisfied. I think maybe you can find out that could be related to the issue about ICT technology. On the responses on feeling about the online administration exams which we offered to our students, you realize that 19.58% of our students said they were very much satisfied, and another 46.85% of the students said they were satisfied with us offering them online exams. So when you look at the total of those students who were satisfied, you add the two numbers there, then you get a figure of about 32% of students being satisfied with the way we offered our exams. On the responses on whether their queries or issues relating to examinations were addressed, by both mElimu and our staff, that is our administration staff, we realized that a total of 61.27% of students said all the queries they had relating to this examination were addressed. Also, another 16.2 were also okay with the way those were handled. So when you add 16 plus 61, you get about 77% of students being satisfied with the way their issues were being handled. While you get a number of about 22.54% of students saying they were not satisfied. But the main reason why we are getting this high response on satisfaction has to do with adequate preparation for these examinations and good training of the administrators, and also the fact that mElimu has got a robust chat house which is able to address issues which are being raised by students as exams progresses. Let's go to the next, please. On the issue of this is a very interesting findings, because what we are doing here is to evaluate the software which is being offered by mElimu. So the first question we wanted to find out from students is on the training manual which we send to them, how easy, how to use it and how easy to understand it. You realize a total of 79.23% of our students say that the training manual sent to them was easy and they easily understood it and utilized it during our examinations. On the question that I had no difficulty using online examination system, you will find that we had a total of 64.29% of our students accepting that using the mElimu system, they had no much challenges, while of course 35.71% said they had some challenges, of which it is normal. We just need as a university to engage further with these students to find out what are those challenges they are talking about. On the issue of face matching, what happens is the system has got what is called face recognition, so that you are able to ensure that the student who is sitting for this exam is the same student whom you have in your records, and it is the same student whom you have enrolled for this particular exam. So about 88.9% of our students really were happy about that feature of face matching, as what happens is it tries to minimize fraud in doing examination. Now, on the issue of combining both the face match and the lockdown browser, the software has got also a lockdown browser. What it basically means, before a student does exam, the student has to first of all to download a lockdown browser. And what the lockdown browser does is to immobilize all the other obligations. So what it basically means is that the student will only be able to access the question and answer the question. The student will not be able to use other sites to search for answers. So when we ask that question to our students about the combination of face matching and lockdown browser as an important procedure that ensures examination integrity, we got a resounding 94.9% of students agreeing with us on that issue. On the issue that I can easily access online exams, we also got a good response on that. On the responses on the overall online examination experience, you realize that 18.8% of students said they had an excellent encounter with doing our exams online. You had a total of 30.07% of students saying they found it to be good doing overall the online exams, while you at 32.87% of students said it was fair. So when you sum all those, you realize about 85% of students gave green line to do this particular online examination. Let's go to the next. Let's go to the next, please. Now, out of that experience, from the survey which our quality department conducted, we now were able to sit as a university and come up with various recommendations which any institution which wants to consider doing online examinations to consider before they sit for those particular exams. The first recommendation we are making is that online exam assistants or support team need to be properly trained to handle students' queries and concerns promptly and effectively. This is very important because we realize when exams start, a lot of students will keep sending their questions through the chat and they need immediate responses. So you should have a well-trained team who can be able to respond and address those particular issues which the students are raising. The other issue which we found from the responses is that sitting for 2 exams online is much harder than sitting for 2 exams in a classroom, as typing is not easy for everyone. Hence, they need to consider that in exam time scheduling. So what we did as a university is we offered 1 exam per day, and other than
Dr. John, we lost you again. We are sorry, he is having some network issue today. I know people may be having a lot of questions. All of you, you can keep adding your questions, post your questions in the Q&A. In the meanwhile, I know Dr. John has conducted the examination, so might be he's the right person to answer your questions. So, so you can keep adding the questions. So I'm just waiting for him to, so that, yeah.
Sorry, Ramil, I think there was a slight hitch there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We understand.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm almost winding up. So another important issue I want just to mention as I wind up is, of course, this mock exam is very critical. Having a mock exam just to mitigate the challenges anticipated before and during real exams. And also, the other important thing is to sensitize students to register for this exam, their exams early, so that they are cleared to sit for these particular exams. I think the other suggestions as provided there in that particular slide, which of course we can always read and improve on in future when we are conducting these exams. So Pramil, I want to thank you very much for inviting me for this talk. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dr. John. But I have a quick question here.
Yes.
So how much time the college should have or should need, they should have to conduct such online examination? How much time you should feel that for setting up, for training, for pushing how much time the colleges should require?
Actually, our university, I think we prepared in about 3 weeks, because first of all, there are various group of people who are being trained. I remember there is a time we trained the faculty or the lecturers. Then there is a time we trained the administrators. Then there is a time now we gave students 2 weeks of trials, interacting with systems and giving back their feedback. So at minimum, 3 weeks will be sufficient, depending again, of course, on the population of your students, because the approach we used was what is called phase out. We didn't want to start with all the students at the go. But now, after doing the exams, we realized we can be, the system has no challenges at all. You can enroll as many students as possible to sit for those exams. Thank you very much, Pramil.
Thanks, Dr. Jones. So we'll again come back. I know there are a lot of people having a lot of questions as you have conducted online examination. You have great experience right now. So we'll come back to you. So quickly going to the next speaker who is with us, Llewellyn Scholtz. Llewellyn is an executive director of a educational non-profit organization that is Genesis Community IT Initiative, and he's a center manager of the ICANN Center in Western Cape in South Africa. He's the CEO of GCT Campus as well, that offers industry-led training. And successfully, more than 10,000 citizens were empowered in digital skills in the last 4 years through the ICANN Center. He has been a radio show continuously doing in Radio 786. I think I remember I have been invited when I was in Joburg as well, in Cape Town. And I have been also participating in that Radio 786. It's a huge users who's listeners who continuously listening. Llewellyn, Llewellyn, are you with us? Llewellyn, are you with us? Can you check you are muted? I think he's having some problem. Team members, can you please check and add Llewellyn again? He might have some issues right now. So can you please again join him? So till in the meanwhile, I think some questions are coming to us. I think there's a question coming from to understand the security of exams, specifically exams sent by email. So Anteneh, you were talking about some examinations that were conducted where emails being sent. Do you find any kind of security happening if the examination is conducting through email? Anteneh, are you with us? You are muted, Anteneh. It's really tough. I think yes, Dr. John.
Ramil.
Yes.
I think on the exams which are sent by email, this is basically what is called open exams. And open exams are exams which are set in such a way that it is more of application. Because what is happening is that you cannot really control. The student is allowed to search, Google, and do everything and submit. So the way these exams are set in such a way that there is something which you want to test from the students. And in most of the cases, these are application questions. So if you are considering these such exams which are being sent by email, then that is what you are doing is what is called open exams. And the way you set those exams are very important or very critical, so that you set questions which will be more of application in nature and is going to engage the students. And when the student gives the response, it will be like a practical response to a case or an issue which you wanted the student to discuss. But you cannot send a student straightforward questions like define what this is, this and this. Thank you, Bramil.
Yeah. And there's another question came from Kim actually for you, Dr. John. How many students took the online examination at MUA?
I can confirm that all the and registered students for our semesters took our exams. In fact, even we later on we got, you see, initially when we were rolling out these online exams, few students showed up, but as it is the nature of students, when they realize their other colleagues are going to sit for exams, then all of a sudden, everyone now wants to do these exams. So as we are talking, all our enrolled students did those exams. Thank you, Pramil.
Perfect, perfect. So I think there was another question coming for Anteneh. I think Anteneh, I'm not sure if you are able to hear us. Anteneh, are you with us? Anteneh, can you hear us? So the question actually is actually about the from Mr. Corso. Actually, what about those who can't access internet? I think the people who are not able to access internet, if you are in Ethiopia, what suggestion or recommendation has been provided by Anteneh as well, that if the students, such kind of students who are not having the internet or facility, they are not having the Lunar International College is having a big infrastructure where it can be, it's also working as a examination center during this pandemic to help the colleges, and those examinations can be conducted within that physically, that center with a special social distancing, I would say. However, the examination is going to be happening online only with the AI proctoring. So that is the actually what he was suggesting. I think there are more questions coming from the Ruben. Ruben is actually from North Coast Medical Training College, and the question is, what's the role of exam in education and training? Talking about, for us, exam are not about competition, but gauging the level of performance of each student. It is about an individual competing with themselves rather than against others. How we measure student achievement is by combining methods of assessment, asking application question or online face-to-face assessment, and self-reflective question. What mElimu can help is to try and combine video conferencing, student portfolio, and other AI-related technologies. Ruben, I think we, as a mElimu, we have been providing several methods actually for running the examination. So if you wanted having a, for an example, the kind of questions you have asked somebody to speak and should be submitted as a voice or as a video, we have itself given within the question type, where you have allowed your student to record themselves and upload as a video or voice. That facility has been given. But if you are feeling that you want it to be a more online video kind of, then I think if it's a more video conferencing kind of concept you are feeling, I think in that case, obviously there are lots of other technologies available that you can use. It can be Zoom, it can be Microsoft Teams, and kind of practical or those conversation happening through that. Online examination, the points that we are talking, it's a more assessment, allowing the students to go through those examination questions, paper, what has been created on the basis of what they have been taught or what they have studied in the last 3 months or 6 months, and then you have created the external examination. It's a semester end examination. So obviously it's a pure AI and cheat proof with having lots of features within it for the students actually. I think there's another question came from, actually it's more for the Anteneh. Let Anteneh come back. We'll put that question in front of him. I'm not sure if Llewellyn is back. Not. I think there's some major challenges. Llewellyn, are you with us?
Yes, yes, I'm now connected. Yes.
Perfect, perfect. So I was talking, Llewellyn, about you. So let me quickly give a bit brief about Llewellyn. I was talking and letting everybody know about you, Llewellyn, that you are the director of an educational non-profit organization that as a Genesis Community IT Initiative and Center Manager of the ICANN Center. You are also the CEO of GCT Campus, an IT college that offer industry-led training. Obviously, successfully more than 10,000 citizens were empowered in digital skills in the last 4 years through the ICANN Center. And I was also sharing that I have been also invited for one of your radio where you keep going on in the radio 786 by you only, talking about the learning, how to digitalize the colleges, higher educations in the learning space. And I found there are a lot of listeners and a lot of questions were coming when I was there. Llewellyn, for joining today. So now I'm giving to you to take it from here.
Firstly, thank you, Pramal. Can you hear me clearly?
Obviously, we can hear you. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. Thank you for mElimu for providing this platform where we can share, where we can express our learning experience and challenges. I say thank you for mElimu, and also for providing this prestigious education conference, which we can actually go into a very challenging topic, which is online examination. A few months ago, people were concerned about online learning, but I think mElimu leading this discussion, we are already at where we are discussing from online learning now to online examination, and I appreciate that. In sharing my experience, is one of the challenges was the COVID-19 in South Africa, March 27, 2020. We went on a hard lockdown. We call it level 5, and everything closed, lockdown. And we faced that challenge. And that happened in our first quarter, in our first semester, where students had to write exams. And we needed to be active. We needed to be proactive during this time. And that is where the online examination of mElimu played a pivotal role. We did face challenges as this was fairly new to students, but at the same time, I think with the skills of online learning, it also helped them to have an online understanding, because once students are introduced into how to learn online, what follows next will obviously be an online examination. So for us, what was very important in South Africa was how will our students actually adopt to this new platform, and also how they will respond. And that was one of our biggest concerns. But then we adopted it, we moved forward, because just to mention, we're an IT college, and I think where it concerns IT, people always expect that you must lead by example. And since we are an IT college, we had to take that risk in adopting this platform and ensure that our students undertake exams. So coming back to talking just about my experience and with the examination, there's some of the features which is outlined that I will place a great emphasis upon that really answered our questions. The moment we go online, everyone is actually asking questions, can either be related to security, especially in that space, and also related to will students be honest throughout the exams, and what are the challenges that revolves around it, because at some point in time, people would feel once you go online, you have the possibility of compromising the exams. The lockdown browser was very important for us. That everything could be locked down, other applications could not be accessed. That was a plus for us to understand that a lockdown browser would be able to enable this whole exam. That was a very important feature for us, and that allowed us to feel safe. Also, during the exams, one of the biggest concerns is that when you look at a student who's conducting an online exam and is either at home there are a few challenges with that student. One of the challenges or one of the concerns would be, are there notes lying around um, in front of the computer or somewhere pasted? That was our biggest concern. Since we're doing IT, there's always a lot of content that ought to be conveyed. And what helped us was to understand that the webcam or the artificial intelligence built into the webcam can allow the invigilator to immediately pick up the student is moving their heads continuously and not looking at the screen, swivel their head, and can immediately chat with them and request of them to position themselves correctly and continue with the exams. And these continual swivel of faces can then lead either to, in our regulations, defining where the person is either cheating or there can be some risk posed to that. So that was very important for us. The artificial intelligence, the webcam, that helped us a lot because that is throughout the exams. We discovered that when it comes to technology, when you have a normal piece of paper in front of you and you're writing an exam, you can set the exam for 2 hours and take the papers in. But when it comes to technology, we discovered that at least we need to give students 1 extra hour. That 1 extra hour can comprise of login up to 15 minutes in some community areas, get everything sorted out. And we also discover that some students, they are digitally literate, but when it gets to typing, they are a little bit slow in answering their questions, which allowed us that we gave a grace period of up to 30 minutes, provided what type of exam we were actually conducting. So there we learned that embracing technology, there need to be additional time, and also attached to the speed of the internet for a student in their community can also result in looking at extra 10 to 15 minutes. Those are the things that we learned actually throughout the process. Also to add, the online invigilator could immediately interact with the students and to correct where it is needed. Now, with us as an IT college, sometimes the way questions are posed or the language or even the terminology sometimes with some students that they actually have, in our case in South Africa, they have sort of a right to call the invigilator if it was a practical, traditional exam, and just ask them to read this question to them. That is always sometimes in our tradition. And sometimes just by listening to a question, a student can then better understand it. And in a case like this, sometimes with a student, they would just ask the invigilator something, can be a big terminology, and the invigilator can just guide them in that question. Because we know sometimes questions are in an order of high level. So the chat feature was also important, that the invigilator could be on demand and respond to students' questions throughout the time. That was actually good for us. We love the fact that the exams could be scheduled, and then students would know in advance when they are writing the exams and how actually they have to prepare accordingly. That was helpful for us. We also realized that whenever you conduct an exam, capacity is very important, especially from the teacher staff, and how students ought to be supported. Because against the volume of numbers of students writing, you need to measure your human capacity and how answers can be quickly responded. Because if you're going to have 30 students writing and you're going to just have one invigilator, will he be able to answer 10 to 15 questions within 20 seconds? Those were the things we looked at, and we needed to respond immediately. So we had 1 or 2 extra staff that could help in answering certain questions. So that was our learning experience through the live chat. We also realized with the system that especially once you log on, the matching of the photos was very important, that students must have their photos on the system uploaded prior to the exam, which actually helped us in matching, is this the student. We were very concerned if students would use some technicality, because there was IT students. Some students would log on and they can immediately unplug their computer and say something has happened. They are disconnected, and then the exam ought to be forfeited. We knew that reality exists, but in our case, the students did not do that. We were concerned about that. Our other concern in South Africa was the load shedding, which we are currently facing. And scheduling the exams was quite a challenge because load shedding could take place. And in some communities remotely, load shedding schedules would be different. And that was quite a challenge. So luckily the exam accommodated that, where all the work being done could be saved automatically, and they can just resume the exam once power goes on. So those are the points that I'm just mentioning, strategic points that actually helped us in making that decision, where we saw that we could adopt the online examination platform and actually allow students to write. Now, this is something interesting for us. Now, there are students that don't have laptops and no internet, but because in our community, which we live in, we have a lot of small internet cafes that is roaming, that is actually serving the local community. This actually helped with some students. We told some students, why don't you go to the internet cafe and request of the internet cafe to give you a scheduled time in a safe environment in the internet cafe where you can actually undertake the exam. That resulted us in building a relationship with the localized internet cafes in that community and guiding them and telling them upfront, the person is writing an exam, this is ought to be respected. And that actually helped. So now we have some few relationships in our remote and rural communities of internet cafes that has sort of the stable internet, that has helped the students that did not have devices to go to a place and undertake an exam. Thank you, Pramal. I think I've shared a lot, but
Absolutely.
questions can be posed, yes.
No, thanks for sharing your thoughts, sharing your experience, Llewellyn. Really appreciate. I think
Thank you.
there are some few questions coming on as well. I keep talking about those questions because people are here to take. You guys are having the experience right now. You guys are very senior people, and they wanted to understand how these examinations can be conducted during this pandemic, because most of the MOEs have already asked to the colleges to conduct the examination anyhow. Otherwise, they can not take in the intakes, the new admissions, or they need to close the colleges even. So that's why it's a big pressure to all the colleges and universities, and everybody is looking for how to get the examination conducted easily with a cheat proof as well. I think there's another question Corso raised for Dr. John, actually. Is not 142 respondents out of 810 students so small to draw a valid conclusion? Dr. John, are you with us?
Thank you very much. I think I want to make it clear, this was not a pure research, but even then, when you look at 142, it's around 18%. And when it comes to discussion on the respondent, the percentage of respondents, there are various arguments on what is a suitable response. Others accept 10%, other arguments accept 20%. So, but what I'm simply saying, this is a unique case we are facing, and we were taking an initiative to roll out an online examination platform. We were fortunate enough to get a feeling from our students on the responses as far as online exams. Just to validate the subsequent exams which we are doing, we have got even a higher uptake. So it basically means the findings are valid, because even the subsequent exams and enrollment we are getting from our students are even going higher. Thank you, Pramil.
Sure, sure. There's another question, Dr. Anteneh. Hopefully, I think it's better for you to answer. What is the structure of the question and how do you allocate marks? It's from George Gathugo.
Can I take that, Pramil?
Sure, it's for you only.
Yes,
sir.
thank you very much. the platform has got various types of questions which you may, which you can consider. So basically, what the developers, they will customize the types of questions which your university or your colleges adopts. If you need a multiple choice questions, they have that option. If you need structured questions, they have that option. If you need essays, they have even if technical courses like statistics and formulas. There's a way the system can be customized to be able also to upload. So what the system does is to be customized to your examinations standards. Thank you very much, Pramil.
Thanks. I think another question coming from Kim actually. How do we address issue of disconnection of internet or power loss during the exam time? I think this is a major challenge we are discussing about. I think all three speakers have shared this. There are certain power cuts are happening on certain interval, and if you knowing a different region or community, it getting disconnected at certain duration. I think the timetable, whenever you are planning a survey, even Dr. John talked about running a survey, making sure which students not only covering what kind of hardware specifications they are having, but also you should ask them what time they are having the power cuts actually. So you will have the timing of those power cut that is happening. But anything, if crash happened, any something happened that it's not in your hand, and even the student not knowing about that, maybe the internet failure or any kind of crash happened. I think the system has the facility as well, where if a student has requested that, okay, he was not available for next 20 minutes or 10 minutes, or a group of students, the facility has been given to extend that time period for that specific group or specific students if they are facing such internet. But what I would request, we have given a facility within the system as well, so that you can go and look over, first of all, the log of that student, whether he was saying correct or wrong. Maybe the cases as well, it has been seen that students are telling lie. They have been in the system and they need more time, that's why they are requesting. So that is important thing, and from the system you can easily check, and you can accordingly see whether your student is active or already within the system or not, and then you can extend the time as well. There's another question coming from Patricia. I think it's for the both speakers as well. I want to know if they considered the geographical location of all students, because in Ghana, internet accessibility is very limited, but students come from all over the nation. So, Dr. John, what is your thought in this question?
Yes, thank you, Pramil. What happens is the examinations which are being offered online, in our case, we made it optional for students, and we gave the requirements to do these exams.
Right.
One of it is having stable internet connectivity. Secondly, having a laptop with webcam. Thirdly, being in a position, of course, to download the the lockdown browser, and being also in a position to provide the university with the latest photo. So as a university, we do not force our students to sit for exams if they feel there are any challenges which are hampering them from sitting for those exams. So if our student is based in a location whereby there is no internet stability, there is no power, then what we request such a student is to defer those exams until such a time when such a student comes out of such locality, so that they are in a position to sit for those exams. Thank you, Pramil.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, Patricia, I think Dr. John has answered. So I remember when I used to keep coming to Accra Ghana, and even I have gone to Kumasi and some other outer parts of Ghana as well. Obviously, when we talk about city is always having a good internet bandwidth, always running. As soon we are going out of the main center, the internet bandwidth is very slow. So what Dr. John is recommending, depending upon where the students are sitting, it's been requested he should move and change the location while giving the examination. He should come to a certain place where the bandwidth is good, and he conduct and attempt that examination, and he should go back. There's another question coming from Corso. Do you have online examination monitor and lockdown browser software at a reasonable cost? Obviously, it's a question for mElimu. Obviously, the current pricing and everything is a very subsidized cost. We know that during this pandemic, the colleges, and it's not only in Africa continent, it's all over the world right now. Corso, the parents are not paying of their kids to the colleges. Similarly happening in India as well, similarly happening in US, similarly happening in other parts of Asia and Africa as well. And seeing all these scenarios, the prices are very subsidized cost. Our colleague, you can connect with our sales team, they will share you the pricing. It comes in a bundle, and all the trainings, the server, the space, everything, it's a part of the bundle. So the pricing are very subsidized. There is another question coming from Patricia again. How does mElimu handle students with disabilities? Obviously, Patricia, in that case, obviously the LMS is having the facility of supporting the BVI user, blind or visually impaired users. In case if you wanted to run such examination for the disabled people, you need to let us know in advance. We can figure it out and get the configuration happen. In such a case, there are certain configuration required for the BVI users, the disabled people. Exact scenarios you need to share with us, obviously, and we can get the configuration done so that the disabled users can, the examination can be conducted for those type of students as well. Obviously, Kim, you're asking about the mElimu system supports smartphones during online examination. Kim, actually the mElimu system do not supporting the smartphone because it is not a cheat proof examination going to be. For internal assessment, it's good to have the smartphone. For such kind of secure examination, if you're talking external examination, you're talking mobile don't have the lockdown concept. Mobile don't have, you can't stop people moving from one app to another because iPhone do not having this facility at all. You can't control actually, and obviously it's a very tough to proctor using AI, because the iPhone or Android or any kind of smartphone, if users are using to give the examination, their smartphones are very near to their faces. So it's really tough actually to monitor the students. We have launched a couple of years with the smartphone facility, but we found it's not really successful, not really a cheat-proof examination conducted in that way. In the meanwhile, obviously, I will quickly take to the conclusion of this conversation, what we were doing, that, okay, what we found from all our speakers, that obviously there should be a survey needs to be happened, first of all, to take your student feedback, to understand what kind of internet connection they are having, what kind of hardware they are having, what time the shutdown is happening of the power cuts, if those are happening. So you should have better information. Obviously, you can create accordingly timetable, as have been told as well by the speakers as well, that it's the students continuously keep coming up with a lot of questions in between the examinations. It's sometimes really tough to handle. So accordingly, different on different scenarios, seeing in mind that timetable should be created, because it's not a physical examination that can be finished in 10 days or 20 days. it's better to increase from 10 days to 20 days or 20 days to 40 days. That would be more better to manage the complete examination. Obviously, the point what I found from the speakers, that always there should be a backup plan as well. All of you as a college, these kind of in case any crashing or server crash is happening, or any kind of long duration power cut is happening, students are not able to give the examination, or there may be 5% students who are unable to give the examination, how you should conduct the examination for them, whether you have the separate question paper for them, these kind of things that you should have in mind, what is the backup plan. Obviously, I think there are questions coming, and Dr. John was also talking about how you should prepare your question banks, question papers accordingly. You should have sufficient time as well to get those question paper created. So obviously, these time you should have with you, 1 week, 2 weeks at least you should have creating this, and then training and dry session. So all these, I think, 2 points, question bank and dry run, what I'm assuming that at least 10 to 15 days minimum will be required if you are trying to go with the first time examination, conducting the first time examination. Life support is very important, obviously, because your students are sitting in different places. They are sitting alone. They are sitting at home, but obviously they are sitting alone. They don't have any teacher. They don't have any colleagues. So they continuously need, and that's why mElimu has given the support facilities, support account as well, so that you can have your staff teacher, you can have your technical support team helping those students time to time through the chat facility there. Cheating provision, obviously, those all facilities should be there to avoid any kind of cheating that is happening. It can be lockdown, it should be face matching, AI proctoring, of what all facilities that is coming to make this examination successful. Very important, I think, some of the points being discussed at end of the examination. Everybody wanted to understand the successful ratio. Obviously, Dr. John is coming up with a lot of reports. On the basis of different reports, he's seeing what different examination happened, how many students have participated, what is the success rate of this examination. So these kind of reports, these kind of audits should be within the system to get happened. Quickly taking a quick brief, I think, about the product as well. This is how students are giving the examination. The system has the facility where you can give the guidelines, you can put the duration, you can put the maximum marks. The guidelines can be anything that you wanted. You wanted them to that, okay, the students should not go to washroom or anywhere while giving the examination. Students should sit in a room where nobody should be passing from the back, because this camera captures multiple faces as well. In case anybody is coming from back and seeing the screen, you can put any kind of instructions. It can be related to your assessment, and it can be related to your examination. And then it has the facility to match face, and then lockdown browser. So examination never gets started unless and until you activated, or the student activated the lockdown. That's how being shown that how the proctoring has happened, that this photo has been taken by the student, and then the system quickly, not taking more than 7 seconds, but generally it varies from 3 seconds to 7 seconds, or maybe 10 seconds depending upon bandwidth, but that's the maximum time we have seen taking. That allows quickly to verify and confirm that you are ready. As soon the face is matched, then it is asking to start the launching the lockdown browser. And once the launchdown browser started, this is actually the questions start coming. You can show 5 questions at a time, 10 questions at a time, or 1 questions at a time. The navigations will be showing here. Students has the behavior to navigate first up, maybe It's a student's behavior. They navigate first of all to the questions and they feel which question they should start first. So it's better always to bring your questions in the categories, section A, section B, section C, letting them know, okay, section A cover these type of questions, section B covering these type of questions, so that they can quickly navigate, they can start attempting from where they were wanted. So rather than clicking the one question at a time, they can quickly navigate from the right navigation. This is one screenshot given how the timer working as well. It's showing the timers as well. This is how it's showing the online proctoring. So ultimately, very important thing, a lot of people asking how we should proctor. So my important point is telling everybody as well that it is not the examiner is proctoring. So you don't need 20 people to proctor, because artificial intelligence is there who is proctoring for you, and that proctoring is artificial intelligence is letting you know, okay, which students is doing what behavior has been found. If it's any kind of face detection found and it's not the same face that you have in database, it will let you know in red, maybe in gray if any kind of fade is there, maybe in green because everything is going fine. If it's multiple faces, it will start showing you. So it will start giving you alert on the real time. You may be running 10 examinations, you may be running 5 examinations, maybe 500 people. You only need 1 people at backend who can quickly message to those students from the system itself that we found quickly such kind of alerts from your side. So sit properly, don't leave your seat, or I have seen multiple faces, as soon we will find you again, will block you. So these kind of things that can be handled from here. So Anteneh, are you with us?
Yes.
Perfect. So Anteneh, I just wanted, I think there are a couple of questions actually came from our participants. I think there's a question came for you. Does Harkwa approve the method of administering examination through email? Is there government intervention to mitigate the challenges?
This is we had some informal meeting with Herka. Mm-hmm. They don't advise exam by email, but funnily, even one of the top public universities is doing it, which is really annoying for us. And even now, this bad practice is also influencing us. We are now fighting with some of our students because they want us to administer exam through email, which we'll never do, because Lunar International College has to make sure that academic quality is not compromised in any way. So but to start with, the current practice, the online learning system, most universities, private colleges are doing in Ethiopia. You just send lecture notes and a video lecture of the instructor, a recorded video lecture on Telegram, and then students will be given an assignment on Telegram, which is only one-way communication. For us, we believe a very important part of education is questioning. So there is no live lecture with most of the colleges. You just simply record some lecture, put it on the Telegram group. You send the exam via email, ask students. This will totally compromise the education quality. Totally. Our experience at Lunar during this COVID-19 pandemic, I just wanted to make sure that to everybody, we didn't start an online learning program. So rather, we are using this online platform to just mitigate the COVID-19 pandemic. Now the government has put a guideline, HERCA has put a guideline for online education, which we are going to apply and start it soon. End of August, we will be applying. for online program. So currently, our students, they attend live lecture because we have been using for the last 5 years, we have been using, 5 months, we have been using mElimu. So mElimu is integrated with Zoom. So we can do, as you can see, we can do online live lecture. Here, students ask a question, which is a very important part of education. The instructor explains. At the same time, students do group discussion. They make a presentation. So for us, the live lecture, one, you question your instructor. The instructor raises question in the middle of a lecture. Plus, students can also present their project, because now students, they create a Zoom group, they discuss on their projects and make a presentation. The recorded lecture, which is very helpful, you know, all lectures will be recorded, and after 2 hours, it will be posted on our LMS provided by mElimu. So if a student misses a class because of power, internet connectivity, or anything, you know, they will get the recorded lecture after 2 hours, which will help them to review.
So it means student. So it means student not required to jump to go and nobody, no human.
They don't miss any lecture.
Yeah.
They don't miss any lecture. Even not only missing a lecture. Sometimes in a traditional class, you know, the teacher explains something, but if you don't understand, then you have to read. Here, you have a chance to review the lecture again and again. Especially for a slow learner, this is a very good mechanism. They can learn from their mobile because mElimu has provided us with mobile app. They can learn from their computer, tablet. They can download their lecture notes in their mobile device and read while they are offline, while they are in taxi. They can submit their assignment. They can download their assignment. They can view their assignment, their grade assignment. Very important thing, they participate in a discussion forum. For each of the chapters, our instructors put a discussion question, and they reflect their ideas, and we encourage them to philosophize, to reflect what they think about a certain topic. They can chat with their instructor or classmates. They can access e-library. They can access their e-library, where we have a lot of journals, books from their any device. Plus, they can take online exam. Now, with mElimu, we'll be starting the online exam soon. So, you know, this COVID for us is almost zero effect. Rather, it helped us to show ourselves. It helped us to show we have a management, you know, that has a capability to respond to some change. So we are doing really fine. The support has been good with mElimu, the local partner. We pay in birr, and support from India is amazing, more than our expectation. We are happy. Even we are considering mElimu for the coming projects.
Perfect. So one important thing I would like to share, all the participants as well and our speakers as well. There's a educationconference.melimu.com has been launched for all of you. And all the participants will be receiving in a short while after this session the ID and password to log into the portal. They can see our speakers there. They can connect with our speakers. They can ask their question directly with their speakers. And the speakers, I would request, we have a lot of people who are very interested to talk to you. We have given within the portal itself a facility to create their own networks. They might be having a lot of so there's a discussion forum. They will be trying to connect you. Obviously, the participants as well. This session is also recorded right now, getting recorded. So it will be posted on the same portal. You can view from there as well with your questions. I know there are a few questions have not been addressed. We are running a bit time out actually. So we'll try to get those answers quickly posted on the portal itself so that all of you can visit and see. Very thanks all of our participants and our speakers. We really appreciate, we enjoyed, and we look forward seeing our participants coming up with a lot of questions more. Soon we are conducting next week a big conference more on different challenge that we are facing in Africa, and we'll talk to our global speakers accordingly. Thanks all of you. Thanks for joining this conference and making it successful. Thanks all of you. Bye-bye. Take care.